that could go wrong did go wrong, but I made it. I made it to the Amalfi Coast. I'm all alone. Am I just gonna have dinner by myself this entire time in the Amalfi Coast? Did I plan enough so that I'm not bored? Was staying in Sorrento the right choice? Is it gonna rain? What if it rains? Right now, it feels like it was worth it. Good morning. It is 5:20 a.m. I am super jet lagged, but I'm in Sorrento. Let me just recap my first 24 hours in Italy as I do my makeup. So I actually arrived in Milan 2 days ago, and from Milan, I went directly to Florence by train, and I stayed at a hostel, which was super fun. I met a few girls in my room and we ended up drinking. My initial plan the next morning was to take another train down to Sorrento, which is in the Amalfi Coast. I was gonna stop by Pompeii to see the ruins. I was in no shape to leave my bed. I couldn't even stand up straight. I pushed back my train. I ended up getting to Sorrento at like 8 p.m. yesterday. Lodging that I booked was through a private website, and I didn't end up booking it. Something about my credit card, it didn't go through, so they just automatically canceled my booking. So I got there and I was like, hello, I'm here. And they're like, sorry, you canceled your booking. And I was distraught. And so just wandering the streets of Sorrento at that hour, I hadn't eaten since like noon, just trying to find a hotel, and it's a Friday night, so like everything is booked. And the only ones that had maybe availability were in like the 300s per night range, which I did not want to pay. But thank God for my boyfriend. He found me this hotel. It was at a really reasonable price. Super clean, it's super modern. I think it was too ambitious with my plans. I'll be in Sorrento for another day, and then I'm gonna go to my Airbnb in Ravello, which is a few towns above Positano, with hopefully really nice views of the sea. This trip, I'm like bopping around every 2 days to a new Airbnb or a new hotel. Like, I understand why people go to resorts now. Backpack life is not for the faint of heart, guys. This trip, I think the goal is just to like soak in beauty, because I think my life in suburbia is just so underwhelming sometimes. But also, I am realizing that people here are very nicely dressed. The goal today is to look cute. Walking through Sorrento, and I'm gonna go to Pompeii. There is a train strike in Italy right now. I'm in Sorrento, and I'm just walking around down to the port, and there's a whole town below the actual Sorrento main street. Guess it's time to explore. The next day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next Airbnb in Ravello. I'm gonna take the SITA bus for like 3 or 4 euros. It's like a 1.5 hour bus ride from Sorrento. So I get to my bus station by the hotel, and a few other girls are waiting there, also American, and the bus for some reason goes by and doesn't stop. A taxi driver was like, you shouldn't wait at that bus stop. You have to wait at the Sorrento downtown bus stop. We took a taxi to the Sorrento downtown bus stop, which is like literally a 5-minute drive away. And there's a whole line, people waiting with their luggage, some with just their day packs, waiting to go to the Amalfi Coast. Now, the next bus on Google Maps, said it was gonna arrive 2 hours later. And we're like, no, no, this is not possible. I had started waiting for the bus at 1:15. The bus finally came at 3:30. We got on. It took about, I want to say like an hour and a half to get to Amalfi. And then you had to buy a ticket, a transfer ticket to Ravello, which is like another 20-minute bus ride away. There are no machines to buy SITA tickets. In Amalfi, in the main bus station area, there are workers dressed in like neon yellow suits. They're manually selling you bus tickets. They have a little like fanny pack and they have tickets. Literally, there were like 30 people swarming this poor man to buy bus tickets. At one point, he just gave up. He literally took a break. He was like, I can't do this anymore. And I make it to Ravello. Smells like a lemon. I've also never smelled a lemon this up close. It does smell like limoncello, but limoncello also smell like lemons. I'm gonna have to report back on if the lemons in California smell like this, but I am feeling a little bit sick today, so this might actually be a nice digestif. Ooh, it was very sour smelling. The views were stunning. You're on top of this hill. It's cheaper than Positano. That was really the turning point, I think, of it all. You could just sit at a cafe and just feel so at peace. The first night, I was drinking my vegetable soup and I was like, oh, this is yummy. I'm getting in my fiber. I'm looking at it very intensely, just trying to see what vegetables are in it. And in it, I see a dead fly. This is the icing on the cake of this very, very long and tedious journey to the Amalfi Coast. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Now, granted, you could hire a private taxi, a private car. My bus ticket, my SITA bus ticket was like, 3, 4, 5 euros to get from Sorrento to like Ravello. To hire a private taxi is probably like 300 to 500 euro a day. I mean, if you're willing to spend 100x what a normal bus ticket is to get to the same location, the experience will probably be 50 times better. Well, it depends on what you value. I value money more than time sometimes. Well, based on this, you can clearly tell that I value money more than time. But anyways, if I could do it again, I might consider the private car. To rely on something so unreliable as the SITA bus was really stressful. Even like getting out of, okay, let me tell you about getting out of Ravello. So the next day I needed to get to Salerno, and then from Salerno, I needed to go to Rome. On Google Maps that I would take a cute little 25-minute walk down to the bus station, and that bus station was gonna drive me through the rest of the Amalfi Coast to Salerno. This walk was beautiful. I am at the top of Ravello, which is at the top of the hill, and I'm going down the coast. Like, I'm literally seeing the whole ocean as I'm walking down the hill. And I'm like, wow, this is a great 25-minute walk. I'm so glad that this is my last activity I'm doing before I leave. Halfway through this cute little walk down paved road, we start to hit stairs. And I didn't realize this, but the bus stop was literally at the end of the hill, all the way down. Like, I'm at the very top of the hill. I think I walked at least 1,000 steps downhill to make it to the bottom of the hill, down to the ocean. My knees are actually buckling, but I'm almost down by the water. I had my entire backpack on me. My knees started to buckle. I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, make this end. And then I waited at this bus stop, which was like a tiny little bus stop in the middle of nowhere on the Amalfi Coast. And I'm like thinking, oh my God, is the bus driver gonna stop for me? I've already had a very traumatic experience in Sorrento where the bus doesn't stop at the station unless it's a main central station. I'm never gonna get out of here. Anyways, it does actually come at 2:08 and I wave it down and it actually stops for me. That was like a hallelujah, thank Lord moment. I've never been so happy seeing a bus. I finally make it to Salerno an hour later, and thank the Lord, I'm like, oh my God, I'm by a train station. And I've never been happier to have a reliable mode of transportation. So that's my big old story. Out of everything, the biggest surprise was actually Salerno. Salerno really blew me away. It was like really grungy chic and like hidden. It's like a hidden gem. It's not as touristy. There's so many cute little alleyways. It's actually really, really, really lovely. It's not as polished as like Positano, Ravello. It's a little grungier, it's a little dirtier, but honestly, it feels like true Southern Italy. Anyways, bless all of the public transportation workers out there in Italy. I have relied on you so immensely throughout this entire trip. To all the SITA bus workers, if you're not getting paid at least $1 million a year driving that bus route, man, you should be. That's the recap of being alone in Amalfi Coast. I will see you in my next video.